Rack your brains, folks. Think, think, think. Engage those neurons to recall a time when money was not just a commodity, but a jaw-dropping, colossal ocean of wealth. Picture this, a time when holding just one banknote made you a billionaire. Exciting, isn't it? Your pulses racing yet? Brace yourselves. What if I told you this explosion of wealth wasn't a flight of fancy? Yes, I kid you not, this actually happened. Not within the pages of a fairy, but right here on our own planet Earth, nestled in the heart of Africa, a compelling nation known as Zimbabwe. In its early days, Zimbabwe was a land buzzing with hope and opportunity. Overflowing with resources and loaded with potential, it was a country set to take the by storm. The economy was skyrocketing, fueling the dreams and aspirations of its inhabitants. They envisioned a future sparkling with prosperity, a life wrapped up in comfort and security, a dream that seemed tantalizingly within reach. But, as fate would have it, dreams can sometimes prove to be elusive. So, how did this dream morph into a financial catastrophe? Welcome to Zimbabwe, a country that printed so much money, its citizens became trillionaires. Let's buckle up, dear listeners, and journey back in time to unravel this mind-boggling. Slowly but surely, signs of economic decline began to appear in this promising nation. Zimbabwe, once a beacon of economic promise and growth, started showing cracks in its financial facade. The country's economy, which had been on a steady incline, began to falter. This was not a sudden collapse. Instead, it was a gradual descent into an economic abyss. The first signs of trouble were subtle, almost imperceptible. The value of the Zimbabwean dollar started to wane against other currencies. Imports became more expensive and the cost of living began to rise. The country that had once boasted of a robust and vibrant economy was now grappling with the harsh realities of a flailing financial system. Inflation, that silent and insidious fiscal monster, began to rear its ugly head. It started off as a mere inconvenience, a slight increase in the price of bread here, a minor hike in bus fares there. But before long, inflation had grown from a trickle into a torrent. As the cost of goods and services spiraled out of control, the Zimbabwean people found their purchasing power dwindling. Everyday life became a struggle. The price of a loaf of bread could double overnight. A bus ride that had cost a few dollars one day could cost twice as much the next. People's hard-earned savings were wiped out as the value of their money diminished. The once prosperous nation was now a land where billionaires could barely afford a loaf of bread. In the face of this escalating crisis, the government was forced to make a decision. A choice that would forever change the course of Zimbabwe's economic history. Faced with a faltering economy and a populace struggling to make ends meet, the government made a move that was unprecedented in its audacity and its consequences. They decided to print more money, a lot more. A critical juncture prompted extreme measures, setting the stage for an unfolding crisis. The decision was made, the printing presses were fired up, and Zimbabwe was about to embark on a financial journey that would lead it into uncharted territory. But as we will see, this decision would have far-reaching implications, not just for Zimbabwe, but for the entire global economic community. In a desperate attempt to combat the economic downturn, the government made a decision that would change the lives of its citizens forever. That's right, they decided to print money without any limits. To the untrained eye, this might seem like a simple solution. After all, if a country has more money, it should be wealthier, right? Well, not quite. When a nation starts to print money without restraint, it sets off a dangerous chain of events. Suddenly, there's an influx of cash in the market, but the number of goods and services remains the same. There's simply too much money chasing too few goods, and this imbalance fuels inflation. But in Zimbabwe, it wasn't just inflation, it was hyperinflation. Prices started to rocket, doubling almost every day. Imagine waking up and finding that the price of bread has doubled from the day before. Then the next day, it doubles again. It was a nightmare that seemed to have no end. The value of savings evaporated overnight. The money people had worked so hard to earn and save was now worth less than the paper it was printed on. People's hard-earned wealth, their security for the future, was wiped out in an instant. The consequences were immediate and devastating. The cost of living soared to unimaginable heights. People found themselves unable to afford basic necessities. The middle class, once the backbone of the economy, was decimated. The poor were pushed further into poverty, but the impact was not just economic. The social fabric of the nation was torn apart. Trust in the government evaporated. The sense of security, the belief that hard work and planning could lead to a better future, was shattered. And yet, amid the chaos, the human spirit endured. Stories emerged of resilience and ingenuity. People found ways to navigate through the crisis, to keep their families fed, and to hold on to hope, even in the face of such adversity. The human cost was staggering, with personal stories painting a picture of the harsh reality. And as we continue our journey into the heart of Zimbabwe's financial crisis, we will explore how this unthinkable decision spiraled into a national catastrophe. To understand the chaos, we must first understand hyperinflation and its impact on economies. Hyperinflation is an accelerated form of inflation, where prices increase at an extraordinary rate, often doubling within a short period. It erodes the value of money, making it virtually worthless. Now, imagine this on a national scale. That's what happened in Zimbabwe when they decided to print money without any limits. As more and more money flowed into the economy, the value of the Zimbabwean dollar plummeted. This was not a gradual process, it was a free fall. The government printed money, but the goods and services available remained the same. So more money chased the same number of goods, which led to an increase in prices. This is a classic example of hyperinflation. But the story doesn't end there. In fact, it gets worse. As prices soared, the value of people's savings fell. A lifetime's worth of savings could suddenly only buy a loaf of bread. Businesses couldn't plan for the future as the value of the currency was unpredictable. The economy was in a state of paralysis. The cascading consequences of hyperinflation were devastating. It wasn't just about numbers and statistics anymore. It was about people's lives. Ordinary citizens who had nothing to do with the decision to print unlimited money were the ones who suffered the most. And as if the internal chaos wasn't enough, the international community watched in horror as Zimbabwe's economy spiraled out of control. Their reaction and how Zimbabwe dealt with it is another chapter in this saga. But we'll save that for the next scene. For now, let's remember that when it comes to the economy, there are no magic solutions. The story of Zimbabwe's unlimited money printing is a stark reminder of that fact. It shows us how a seemingly simple decision can have far-reaching and devastating consequences. In the face of such adversity, the nation took drastic measures to stabilize its economy. Zimbabwe made a conscientious effort to pull itself out of its financial abyss. The road to recovery was steep and winding, but the nation was determined to find its way back to economic stability. Firstly, the government made the hard decision to abandon the Zimbabwean dollar. In its place, they adopted a multi-currency system, including the US dollar and South African rand, among others. This step was instrumental in curbing the rampant inflation and restoring a semblance of normality to the economy. Secondly, they implemented a series of economic reforms aimed at improving fiscal discipline, boosting productivity, and promoting foreign investment. This included measures to streamline public spending, improve transparency, and strengthen financial institutions. It was a challenging task, but the nation was committed to making these necessary changes. As the nation embarked on this path of recovery, it also took time to reflect on the crisis and its causes. It was a period of introspection, of looking back at the decisions that led to the crisis and understanding the lessons to be learned. The country recognized the importance of responsible fiscal policies, the dangers of unchecked money printing, and the crucial role of strong, independent financial institutions. Through this journey, Zimbabwe learned invaluable lessons about economic management. It learned that money, while a necessary tool for economic activity, could not be created without limit. It learned that hyperinflation, once unleashed, could have devastating consequences, and most importantly, it learned that the road to economic stability was paved with discipline, transparency, and sound fiscal policy. The story of Zimbabwe's unlimited money printing is not just a tale of economic mismanagement, but a testament to the resilience of a nation. Despite the hardships, the people of Zimbabwe displayed an incredible spirit of endurance and determination. They faced the crisis head-on, learned from their mistakes, and emerged stronger. This is a story of resilience, of a nation that refused to be defined by its past, but instead chose to learn, grow, and forge a path towards a brighter future. The lessons learned from Zimbabwe's economic crisis have global significance. They underscore the importance of economic stability and the delicate balance that maintains it. The story of Zimbabwe isn't just a tale of hyperinflation and economic turmoil. It's a poignant reminder of the ripple effects of economic decisions, how they can reverberate across borders and impact the global economy. This narrative serves as a powerful testament to the fact that money, its value, and its management are integral to a nation's well-being. It brings to light the importance of sound economic principles, fiscal responsibility, and the role of prudent monetary policy in maintaining a healthy economy. The Zimbabwean experience has provided valuable insights into the management of economic crises. It has shown us the significance of international cooperation, the necessity of economic reforms, and the power of resilience in the face of adversity. As we conclude our journey into Zimbabwe's economic history, we are reminded of the power of resilience and the importance of learning from our past.